and welcome to MLW Confusion. I'm your host Rob Cameron, bringing you all that you may or may not need to know about Major League Wrestling and its television programming. This week we're bringing back the Indie Spotlight. We are checking out Midwest Championship Wrestling Illinois, their Extreme Rules event from May 24th of this past year. But first, we got the news. Nothing really cool coming out of this week for MLW, but we did get a handful of match announcements for the Blood and Thunder 2024 event. That is going to be July 12th, Friday, that is, St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Coliseum. First match announcement is for the Opera Cup, Round 1. MLW middleweight champion Mystico takes on perennial rival Magnus. So we got some hard-hitting lucha action to help round out the tournament. Looking forward to see that matchup as well. But speaking of lucha, another match announced for the Opera Cup is MLW Tag Team Champion Okamura. He is battling the young upstart Atlantis Jr. That should also be an interesting matchup. You got the age and experience of Okamura taking on the young... he's not quite a rookie, but he's still a young dude. In Atlantis. And just seeing the two generations of Lucha Libre kind of going at it, whereas the Magnus Mystico battle is a battle of peers. This is a generational battle with the Opera Cup on the line. It has also been announced that in first round action, we will see Filthy Tom Lawler, former Opera Cup winner himself in his own right, takes on the Firestarter Jake Christ in a match that will certainly steal the show as well. The first round is shaping up to be pretty darn awesome, I dare say. But yeah, so we got this match going on. Will Filthy Tom repeat? Who knows? Will Jake Christ pull up an upset? Because let's face it, this will certainly be an upset if Christ pulls off the victory. We shall see July 12th. This is helping to round out the card of matches that have already been announced in general. So the main card so far is Matthew Justice with Bill Alfonso. Bill Alfonso gets to come back. Good on him. Takes on Mads Kruger in a 3 Stages of Destruction match. Minoru Suzuki battles Akira. And then, of course, the first round Opera Cup matches that have been announced with Tom Lawler, Jake Christ, Atlantis, and Okamura. And they're bringing back the formal announcements for the BN Sports card, which is going to be rounded out by Mystico versus Magnus. Of course, there'll be more matches to be had in the future, but that's all we got now at present time. In the meanwhile, though, we're going to have to check out the other half of Blood and Thunder that's coming up this here weekend. It'll be tomorrow at the time of this here, podcast. But, who knows by the time you listen to it? I don't know. But if you listen to it before it drops, hey, be sure to check out the Urban Wrestling Network. We are going to go live reactions to the card, to the matches, watching it live on YouTube. Maybe if Muffins is on his game, maybe we'll bring it out on the Twitter too. I don't know. But either way, be sure to check that out. Links will be on the social media, so be paying attention to mine and the UWN social media as well. So, that's enough MLW, because they're not giving us enough content to talk about, so we are going to bring you the best of independent wrestling. We are scouring the country to bring you independent wrestling to shed some light on the smaller promotions that form the lifeblood of the independent wrestling scene in America today. As I said at the top of the introduction, we are checking out Midwest Championship Wrestling in Illinois. They hosted their Extreme Rules event late last month, May 24th in Ottawa, Illinois. So let's check this thing out. Let's see what it's like. Maybe we'll make some fans out of you. Of course, this entire card can be found on YouTube at the MCW YouTube page as well. I'll try to remember to throw in links in the descriptor on that. But yeah, so the show starts off with a memorial 10-bell salute for referee, general manager Jimmy Smooth. I never knew that guy as Jimmy Smooth. Like, I've seen that guy in action before, but he had passed away last month. I will say my familiarity with him. Wow, I don't know why that's so hard to say. Comes from Next Level Elite Wrestling in Orion, Illinois, where he was the senior official for that promotion under the assumed name of Seymour Butts. I assumed that was that he went by that moniker because as head referee, he was terrible. And I don't mean like, no, he was a bad ref. I mean like he was almost like a storyline heel per se. Like he made all like the stupid decisions. So like whenever there was like a dusty finish, like he was the one to get the announcement. Whenever like he would just throw a match out, like, well, he'd be the one to throw the match out, even though it was like really good and the face got a visual pinfall victory over the heel or whatever. But outside of the world of reffing shindies in Orion, Illinois, he helped bring forward Midwest Championship Wrestling. So 10 bell salute, and condolences to his family and friends. Following this short memorial, we get our first match, our opening contest. AMB battles the Jet Benjamin Trust. I must say, Trust has a nifty jacket with an eagle on his shoulder, like almost like robotic-esque eagle on his shoulder. That was kind of neat. He's like a Top Gun dude, I suppose. He is the Jet, after all. And he's going to attack before the bell. Bell doesn't even get a chance to ring yet, and he is attacking AMB. However, AMB gets a measure of revenge by attacking the Jet as he's removing his jacket. From there, we go back and forth. Like, they take turns being idiots, and I don't mean this as like just doing necessarily stupid stuff, but they're both like tricking each other with a nifty counter, and then take turns doing dives outside the ring. Jet, however, takes over with a low drop kick off of AMB, handspring attempt anyway. Got upside down and then got drop kicked in the chest for his efforts anyway. Jet works over AMB with strikes before hitting what he calls the ejector seat, which is the electric chair dropped into the top turnbuckle. Only gets 2 off that. AMB rallies back, at least initially, to hit low main pain, kind of, sort of, not really. Gets a 2 count off of that one, though. Follows it up with a pretty lion salt and a frog splash. Only gets 2 off that, too. Kip up cutter. Once again, 2 count. Can't put the Jet away, the much larger opponent. They fight on the apron. Ejector seat on the ring apron. If no one's told you yet, that is the hardest part of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. But that is not enough to put anyone away. We got a shoulder rebound lariat by the Jet, gets 2. It's that bump like Matt Cross likes to take, where he jumps into the ropes and like uses his neck and shoulders to bounce off the top rope and flip around. That's what that was. I don't know like if it has an official name, but that's what I'm calling it. The shoulder rebound, whatever. Only gets 2 off of that, though. AMB comes back on his own, hits a handspring cutter, finally nails that handspring, followed up by the Psycho knee, allowing AMB to take down the much larger Jet, get his hand raised in victory, and whatever cliches you want to throw in there. However, cliches aside, it was a fun match. It was a good opener to get the crowd on their feet. I will say Jet really knows how to work the crowd. I will give him that. I'm not familiar with his work, but he is, despite being a heel, he is making a fan out of me. Our next match is a lucha extravaganza as Mexico takes on Máscara Suicida. And we are starting with good lucha things, if you really want to call it that. Mexico gets sent to the floor, and Máscara Suicida almost lives up to his name as his feet get caught up in the rope going for a tope suicida. Luckily, though, Mexico was in position to at least catch him or break some of the fall. Inside the ring, Mexico hits a swinging side slam, only gets 2 off of that. Suicida picks up the pace with a dropkick and a Rana. However, he misses the swanton, and that was all Suicida needs to lock in the rocking chair submission. That was a really short match. It was just a really short burst. Use the astronomy, analogy is, the faster the star burns, the quicker it, blows up. And that's kind of what happened here. Like, we just started pedal to the metal and ended it, and it seemed like really quick, probably like sub 5 minutes for this here match. But so the big thing is everyone's okay, though. That's the important thing in this good lucha things. Our next match are 2 gentlemen that I'm fully aware of. and by fully aware of, I mean, they are local boys, watch them both quite a bit. John Bonhart and Casey Jax, they are going one-on-one. Role reversal, though, compared to what I'm used to. Normally, John Bonhart is an utter effing dickbag, and Casey Jax is a lovable, eccentric babyface with raccoon eye makeup or something like that. Maybe he looked into the painted telescopes with both eyes, for those of you that are like over the age of 40 and watched lots of old cartoons. Anyway, they are going one-on-one with the roles reversed. Bonhart is our white meat babyface. Jax is our glowering heel. We get a feeling out process as Bonhart takes over. Machine gun chops in the corner. However, Jax dodges a corner charge and begins working over Bonhart's shoulder. Shotgun dropkick by Jax gets 2, followed by a sling blade flatliner. Only gets 2 off that too. Bonhart tries to come back, gets a big Beal off the top rope, followed up by 10 beats of the Bowery, or whatever you really want to call that. Either way, the ref throughout this process is really slow on his count, so I don't know what's going on. That's just ref bias or something. Bonhart follows that up with a flippy-doo into an Anaconda Vice. Like, I don't even know what you call it. Like, it was a shoulder lift, like airplane hold, and flipped it somehow into a slam that ended up into being the Anaconda Vice. From there, both competitors are trading submissions. Bonhart hits a double underhook knee into the lariat to get the win. It was an interesting match, I will say. Like, I'm like negating like the actual match itself. Like, I like Bonhart's a really good heel for his experience level, and I'm actually surprised like how well he's adjusted to the role of babyface, and maybe he works babyface everywhere else. Sorry, pulling back the curtain a little bit off this, but like really like surprised like how well he works babyface in this situation, because this is the first time I've seen him work babyface. Whereas Jax, I think Jax is to say babyface because his heel work just comes off as kind of dorky. Sorry to be the downer on that one, Casey, but I think it's at least true how I think about it anyway. Anywho, let's take a brief pause for the cause. Let's get ourselves some energy drinks, recoup after their last match, and I'll catch you all in memento. If you're like me, sometimes you need a pick-me-up to get you through the day. I drink Ray's Energy for that pickup. Ray's comes in a bunch of different flavors, and more recently Italian Ice, which is great, by the way. And it contains no sugar, so there's no crash after you drink it. And really, like best of all, if you go through me and go to wetrepsports.com, use my code CASS, you get 15% off your order. So also, be like Cass, drink Ray's Energy. All right, we are back with triple threat action. It is Koa Luxamana with Kali's Malia versus Mark oh gosh, my notes are terrible, and I'm going to apologize for butchering this all. The Polish Power Perdua and Maddie Ice. Triple threat match there, and whew. So, yeah, man, I apologize for everyone, because my handwriting's atrocious to begin with, and then we throw in names I've, like, never legit seen before, and that is just a recipe for disaster. Like, it's a good thing, like, I'm just a podcaster and not anybody who has a real job or something. Anyway, let's just ignore all that bad stuff, and, let's talk about the match. Perdua is just beating everyone down until he's not. Like, he's a big, strong dude. Like, he's pretty put together. He's Polish Power for a reason. That name's not a haha misnomer. Like, dude's kind of jacked, beating down both of his slightly smaller opponents until he doesn't, as I said. Because then his opponents, who happen to both be babyfaces, team up to beat him down and take him out of the ring. We got a face battle inside the ring with Perdua on the floor. Koa barrels into Perdua, who's wandering back into the ring. Ice goes for the roll-up, only gets 2 off of that. Koa goes for various roll-up attempts until Perdua comes back in to break things up. Koa is slammed into the ring post, allowing Perdua and Maddie. I really want to call him Natty because, beer jokes, man. He's kind of a natty, though, I guess. He's a natural in this ring, so to speak. I'll try to cover myself once again. But Maddie tries to fight Pardua. Doesn't quite work, though. Pardua goes for tries to make the cover. Koa breaks it up. We get a jump cut, and the first of, like, many. Like, some of them are pretty good for editing, and others are just, nope, we got pauses. Somewhere in the process of all this stuff with Koa getting beaten down, Callie's, who is Koa's manager / husband, gets in the ring, starts challenging Pardua to a fight. Pardua's like, whatever, after getting shoved off the top rope, like, I'll bring it to you. Except he doesn't initially, as Callie's hits a Fez press, but her momentum is stopped short by a rock bottom. No DQs in this match, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, triple threat rules, but the intergender stuff, she done got squashed. Valiant effort, though, in the meanwhile. Faces, though, off this distraction, start clubbing away at Pardua, but they really can't work together terribly long once there's threats of pinfalls to be had. This is the beginning of their downfall, at least initially. We get a ref bump with a visual pin by Koa, followed up by a spear and another visual pin while the referee is still biased and unconscious. Pardua hits a rock bottom. That pin gets broken up. Maddie hits an overhead mat slam to get the 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Maddie Ice, the natural. Is he a natty? He's Natty Ice. That's what we're doing with this thing, because I might as well just throw all my commentary down the hole for that one. So we'll just dig that joke straight into the ground. But your winner, and despite my my terrible calling of this match, it was a fun triple threat match. Hit all the right boxes. We got plenty of action. You even got some managerial interaction and intergender wrestling off that. And of course, the best part of the match, ref bumps, because that is how you deal with ref bias, ladies and gentlemen. Following this, we have our David and Goliath match of the night. That's what we're going to call it. As Kid Lat battles the Apex. Top of the food chain he is. And Lat wants respect. Apex has none right away. Lat, though, takes the early advantage, kind of befuddling his much larger opponent with a big crossbody off the top rope. He get a brief respite outside the ring. Apex is like, dude, I don't know what happened. I'm going to take me a 9 count, get some rest in here. Comes back in the ring and takes over for quite a while with slams and clubs. Gets the odd jump count to a random 2 count. Like, we don't even see the move. What happened? We're just like, 2. I'm like, oh, cool. Running uppercut by Apex gets 2. Kid tries to mount a comeback and finally does so on like the 3rd attempt with a top rope front drop kick. However, it is not enough. Apex thanks the Kid for the matchup. Better luck next time into a ripcord spear to get the win. It was a neat little matchup. Like, it was obviously a squash match. But it's noted that, like, the underdog got himself the respect of his much larger, stronger opponent at the end of the match, starting with the no handshake at the start, and then kind of like the handshake, good luck, kid, you just weren't good enough tonight, before getting his pants speared off, or whatever other analogy you want to use for that. So that was kind of interesting. And I think it's also interesting that, like, Apex is primarily, like, works almost like a heel. Like, I guess he's closer to a tweener, but he leans more to the heel side, only with less cheating. But the crowd, like, ate everything up that he did. So whatever it is, it's working. Who am I to judge in this here situation? I'm just running down the match card. Following this, we have Xavier Sky battling the War God Ares Creed. Creed comes out with a sword. Evidently, it's like Mjolnir, and only the worthy can lift it, because he hands it off to the referee, who is promptly, like, drugged to the ground by the sheer, I don't know, awesomeness of the sword. That's what we're going to do with it, the sheer awesomeness of said sword. Luckily, though, Ares comes in to save the day, brandishes the sword, and it is unfortunately not allowed to use it in this here match. We start the match. Yeah, this is our Indie-rific speedrun match. Lots of counters, back and forth early on, and they're both kind of like, oh, oh, you got me on that one, as there's like some big counters coming into play there. However, Tope con Ilo takes out Aries, and then some dude, I assume it's the dude working security, but like Aries just kind of like drags the guy over with him, and then all of a sudden Xavier just falls out of the sky onto both of them, takes them both out. But smartly, though, inside the ring, Aries pushes the ref to block a springboard attempt. The ref hits the ropes, knocking Xavier down into the ring. Aries are throwing all the forearms to his grounded opponent, and once they get up, a big forearm to get a 2 count. Sky counters a combo with a big knee and mounts himself a comeback Falcon Arrow. No one gets out of the Falcon Arrow except for Aries. They got a war, only 2 count off of that. The two trade strikes, and I hate these faux spirit battles, but they happen, they're a thing, so I go along with it. But they are trading big strikes back and forth before the last one hits. They're both dead. Never mind. Aries wokes up and hits a PK kick for 2. Knee to the back of the head by Aries also gets 2 as well. Sky dodges a corner charge and hits a springboard cutter to pick up the victory quasi out of nowhere. To get the 3. So this was your, take this how you want. Like, this is either an alright thing or a bad thing, depends on how much you want to yell at Clouds. But for me, this is like the indie-rific match of the night, where we are just going to kind of like do all the serious strikes and do all the flippity-doos. Okay, so the flippies weren't that bad. Like, they were on the low scale of flippy-doo. But like the spirit battle strikes, where like they start off just trading back and forth, and then the strikes get more elaborate. Like, I hate that. Like, that's just, if this was like a real fight, that would just be, courting a knockout. But wacky world of professional wrestling. But yeah, so I'm not going to say it's bad, because it's all, it's well done, but it's not my bag all the time, and it just didn't do it for me. That being said, again, everyone did things well. It was a very technically proficient match, just not my bag. So that's a matter of taste, and feel free to let me know how wrong I am, because I am. This is all subjective. Like, this is not, they didn't botch anything. So I'm ragging on it by not ragging on it, per se. I don't know. That's where we're going with it. But yeah. So otherwise, I can't complain. I can't truly complain about the match. It just wasn't my bag. There, I'll leave it at that, and quit apologizing and trying to make myself look better or whatever. As we move along to our main event of the evening for the MCW Heavyweight Championship, Nasty Nic Nolan looks to defend the title against ECW, WWE, technically WCW as well, legend the Rhino. Rhino, somehow, despite his age and bulking up, continues to bulk up, as we all do as we age, but somehow the dude doesn't look like he just continues to be a box. He's not like me, who's getting a stomach on him. Rhino's just continues to expand and become broader, and I'm impressed by this. No shade intended. Again, because we all steadily expand with age, but somehow Rhino pulls it off and maintains his the same the approximate same figure he's had for the last 30 years or so. Let's see if he can still go as he could 30 years ago. We start the party going outside. This is an Extreme Rules match, hence the Extreme Rules name of the show. Going outside, we were just clubbing and gouging around the ring to the concession area, where the concession girl hands off a beer or a soda to Rhino, who clubs Nolan with it, and the drink just goes everywhere but on Nolan. So that was actually kind of funny, especially because it was all on the camera stand. So we might have lost all the footage. I don't know. We I guess we didn't. We're watching it right now, but yeah, what it is. They fight up to the balcony. Commentary was reminding everyone to get out of the way if the action's coming your way. They brawl amongst the seats up in the balcony area before wandering their way down to the ring. Go to ringside, and Rhino's just chucking weapons into the ring. We jump cut randomly to Nolan on the mic, demanding Rhino respect him, or he'll beat the respect into him. However, Rhino follows that up immediately with a back suplex on the ring apron. Once again, the hardest part of the ring, ladies and gentlemen. Rhino tees off with a kendo stick, because that's what Nolan wanted to do, but stepped on Nolan's hand, grabbed the stick, teed off for a bit, goes for a suplex into the ladder, hits most of it, but they kind of just hit the side and bounced onto the ring. So that I mean, not that any ladder suplex like feels good. Oh, but that one had to be rough. Rhino gets cut off, putting a chair into the corner. Nolan gets a staple gun out, but before he gets a chance to use it, he gets stapled in the dick and then the butt. Before he can get stapled in the forehead, though, Nolan low blows to prevent more staples, but it eats a chair trying to elbow drop Rhino in the meanwhile. Gore only gets 2 by Rhino. The crowd wants tables at this point. Rhino then runs right into the title belt, going for a second gore. Nolan gets the cover, takes the victory, and retains the championship. We're not done yet, but I'll give my thoughts on here. This is your standard, like, I hate calling it, smoke and mirrors hardcore match, but that's kind of what it was. Like, there was a lot of stuff going on, but, it was all just, smoke and mirrors to make it look more hardcore than it was, like, brawling up to the balcony. Like, they didn't do much of anything, brawling around the ring, just, some clubs, some eye rakes and whatever, but they gave everybody a show by basically being around the front row and then clearing out the balcony too, and then bringing out some light spots once they finally got down into the ring. Though I will always pop for staple gun to the dick. I'm not gonna lie about that. Always down for staple gun to the dick. After the match, Nolan notes that he is now 2-0 against Rhino. He wants the respect he deserves, and he gets ready to rain down chair shots on Rhino when the arena goes dark, and we cut to a pre-recorded promo from the one, the only, the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, EC3. He puts over Nolan's victories over Rhino, but he kind of questions how cool things will be, if title for title happens to happen, because Nolan has proved himself to be a champion, and EC3 is now ready to come to Midwest Championship Wrestling and put the NWA Championship on the line for the MCW Heavyweight Championship against Nasty Nic Nolan. So one-on-one for our next big show looks to be for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship, and that would be quite the feat for Nasty Nic Nolan to take the NWA World Heavyweight Championship from EC3, especially in a non-NWA sanctioned promotion. So that would be interesting. We'll see. You'll have to keep an eye on that. That's coming up next month. Can the Overman beat the Nasty One? Or will the Nasty One become the new heavyweight champion of the NWA? So, there we go. Midwest Championship Wrestling Extreme Rules in Ottawa, Illinois. A fun little show, despite whatever snark I may give it. This is, small-time independent wrestling. This is the lifeblood. This is the future of independent wrestling. This is where, talent are getting their start, and guys who have made their name for themselves are, coming back in to, see the crowds that, idolized them in the glory days of WWE, ECW, WCW, even, we're old enough now that even TNA, we could throw them into the mix as well. So it was a fun show to watch. Be sure to check that out on the YouTube. In the meanwhile, also be sure to check out the plugs and the best ways you can support this here small podcast, if you will. In the meanwhile, I'll see you all next week. MLW Confusion is a weekly podcast that is written and performed by Rob Kammer and is hosted by Spotify for podcasters. MLW Confusion is part of the Urban Wrestling Network, and you can check them out on the Underground Rundown on YouTube at Urban Wrestling NW. Background music for this section is Ruined My Day, performed by Alan Schroeder. If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to support, please like, subscribe, and tell your friends, family, and enemies. Leaving a review is also helpful, as word-of-mouth advertisement is very important for small podcasts. My social media links can be found in the descriptor, but the Twitter and Instagram are at the Nova of Cass, that is TheNovaofCass, and Facebook is at MLW Confusion, all one word. If you'd like to support monetarily and help upgrade my equipment, and etc., please check out the tip jar at ko-fi.com/Casanova, or if you prefer some more bang for your buck, go to patreon.com/Casanova, that is CASSONOVA, whereas for as little as $2, backers get access to the podcast early and without those pesky ads, plus other exclusive content. So join the crew that is headed up by Keith Wynn, Alan Schroeder, The False Prophet, Alexander McCarthy, and Left Tendo, and check it out. You can also find t-shirts, coffee mugs, and other merch at the Confusion Podcast store on Teespring. Links will be below. For business inquiries such as ads and sponsorships, please email at rzkamer, that is Kamerer, at comcast.net. Thank you for listening.